I am Anuli Akanegbu, and you are listening to the Black in Real Life Podcast.
You're golden, you're so golden. What you got, you're the golden child. I see forever between you and me, forever between us.
As a recovering marketing industry professional, I've heard the phrase going viral more times than I would like to recount. I've fielded many requests from clients who were eager for my team and I to create social media campaigns that would go viral. But here's the thing about viral marketing. It's a farce. Whoever promises you that they can make a campaign that will automatically go viral is a false prophet, unless the prophet in question has a lot of celebrity connections, because yes, the participation of a celebrity, multiple celebrities, if you have the budget, does help content spread quickly. I've got to be honest with you. Viral moments are often situations of chance and surprise. It's hard to predict what kind of content will resonate with a population of people enough to rapidly spread. Sometimes marketing is like throwing spaghetti at a wall. You never know what is going to stick. But the idea of going viral on the internet is fascinating nonetheless. What does it mean to go viral, and how does it feel when it happens? Today's guest, Sofiyat Ibrahim, is here to share what it's like from her own personal experience of going viral 5 times in a span of 3 months. Sofiyat Ibrahim is a Washington, D.C. area-based communications professional in the international affairs industry, as well as a social media influencer with over 450,000 followers across multiple platforms, including YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Online, Sofiyat, who typically goes by her nickname Sophie, is known as the Odditty, spelled with 2 T's. If you follow Sophie online, or were one of the hundreds of thousands of people that have seen any of her viral videos, then you know of her vibrant personality. She is the literal embodiment of positive vibes only, and she has a master's degree in peace building to prove it. Remember, at the end of each interview, I will come back to share a few key takeaways that stood out to me from our conversation. These takeaways will be supplemented with research from both academic and non-academic sources to add further context to subjects that were brought up in the interview portion. For every episode, I will include citations to the reference materials I mentioned, as well as some additional background reading for you on the Black in Real Life website. Visit www.blkirl.com to nerd out. Okay, now without further ado, let's get into my conversation with Sophie, also known as the Odditty.
Let me hear you say you're a bad bitch with your black bits, and
I actually
nobody,
first learned about you
nobody,
this summer, the way a
look
lot
in
of
my
people
mirror,
learned
look in your
about
mirror,
you.
look in your mirror,
Yep,
sis.
yep.
Yeah, I came across the video of the one of you advocating for people to stop following society ideals about what a normal body is supposed to look like. And I know you made that in
Mm-hmm.
support of Jackie Aina, who's another content
Yeah,
creator and entrepreneur. And it was like
yeah.
after she had a video of herself in a bikini and people started poking at her, like, what are those dark bits and what is this? And like this coloration of
All right.
bikini line,
Yep,
even though it's like
yep,
normal.
yep,
So you
yep.
came up with the video and you just had to shut that down. So can you tell me more about like why did you decide to release that video? Like what were you feeling at the time that you wanted to say?
Yeah, I think for me it was actually interesting because I had posted a bikini video before Jackie posted hers. And it was this white bikini, and I was in a swimsuit haul for a brand that will not be named because they are not one of the best right now.
Hmm.
But I did this a YouTube video, and I remember sending the video to my friends, and I was like, "Oh my god, can I post it?" She's like, "Oh no, why don't you put foundation on your thighs because they're dark?" And she didn't mean this in a negative
Hmm.
way. This was more so like conditioned, right? She was just like, "Oh, the things is too dark. People are gonna talk about it. Put some
I didn't
foundation
know
on it."
people did that.
Oh, people do that. That's really, if you're gonna post a video online, you're gonna put foundation or some like bronzer or something on your thighs and on your blacker
Wow.
parts before you post a video. Apparently, this was a thing. And so I was sitting there like, and I sent it to another girlfriend too. She said the same thing. It's like 4 or 5 of my friends, and they all said, "Yeah, like it's dark. Like that's what most people would do if you want to be comfortable putting it out." And I remember sitting there going, I don't want to do that. That seems like a lot of work. And what if he's gonna stay? Literally, I was coming from a place of it's gonna stain my white bikini. It's gonna do this. I don't want to do that. So I was like, I say love yourself regardless. I mean, it wasn't that I was insecure about it, but the fact that they kept saying that made me feel insecure. Like, oh, shouldn't they be black? I thought everybody was black. Like, what's going on? Am I different? And so I remember posting out this video, and it didn't do as well as my other videos at first. And I got a couple of screenshots from weird people, of course, like, oh, I was loving her until I saw the thighs, and they'll take screenshots of my inner thighs and post it on Twitter, saying that. And I remember going, oh, my friend was right. Oh, they were right. I should have put the foundation on. And so I just forgot about that situation. So, and Jackie Aina is someone we all look up to. Like, she's the quintessential Black woman who's gorgeous. She's in her bag. She's making names for herself. And to me, Jackie does no wrong in terms of like beauty and everything. And so when she put that video up, I was like, oh my God, Jackie has this too. And she didn't put any foundation on. And for her to then show a video talking about it, I was like, this is something that everybody goes through, even me. Like, and at that point, I think I was at like maybe 20, 30,000 followers then. And I was like, I just want to do this for people who are not as big as Jackie, who are just regular girls like me, and say like, honey, if Jackie is having complaints, Lil means having complaints, we all have this thing. Why are we shy about it? And I think after I did that, the support and Black women just reflecting, and even like people of color in general just reflecting and saying, oh my God, we too face this. We too have, discoloration here, hyperpigmentation here. I'm like, it's normal. Like, we need to just, embrace it. It was interesting. It was nerve-wracking posting that, but I think now I'm generally a lot more comfortable in walking around with my Black bins. Like, what? Everybody has it. What you gonna say about it? Yeah.
Last I checked, that video had almost 500,000 views on Instagram alone.
Yeah.
Like, did you imagine it was going to blow up like that?
No, I did not. I did not, because I think for me, I thought it was going to blow up more on Twitter, because I've been having a couple of viral videos on Twitter, and I was just like, oh, it's going to be one of the other ones. But on Instagram, not necessarily, but the reception from Black women was insane. And I think this was something that a lot of us, because we're not allowed to talk about these things. We don't talk about things that make us insecure because we run away from them. We think they're normal. And so I think I was touching a part of women that they were shy away from, they would be scared about. And to see someone just willy-nilly go, ma'am, what, was very empowering. And I think that's why it went as viral as it did. And I'm excited. I'm grateful for the opportunity to pour some light into people.
So you are on Instagram, you're on Twitter, but you're also on YouTube. And on YouTube, you have a video. You talk about having gone viral 5 times in 3 months. Like, that's insane. But B, I want to hear from you. When you say you've gone viral, what does that word viral mean to you? How do you measure and define that?
I think virality to me is when more faces see your face without knowing your story multiple times. And what that looks like is people who've never met you before, who know nothing about your platform, see you and they relate to whatever it is you're doing, or they find you funny, entertaining, and then they continue to repost you and then share. Until before you know it, you double in your following, or you double in engagement, or you're seeking an audience that more often would have been 100 people, but now it's 20 million people. And that can be so nerve-wracking, especially on the internet, because virality comes with a lot of issues. It comes with a lot of stressors, of course, but at the same time, like, it's a unique opportunity to like create a name for yourself and touch as many hearts as you hopefully want to touch. So yeah, virality for me is it's a unique experience where someone oftentimes sort of reaches a group of people that they will never ever reach. They will never come to their corner of the internet because they just weren't in their forte, because the internet is vast. So for you to be able to reach different corners of different types of people, I think it's important. Like, I think when I went viral the first time, I had a lot of people from South Africa, and a lot of people from France for some reason. It was so
you don't know why?
I don't know why,
Okay.
But my video, and then people would like retweet, and then all the mentions would be in French. And I was like, what is going on? Because I think maybe someone probably in French media had taken my video and then put some French subtitles on it, and then it went viral there. And so like, I would have never linked to the French audience because it's just my English, everything is just not with that audience. But when you go viral, you're going to different nooks and crannies of the internet to sort of reach different people.
When was the first time you went viral? I'm curious as to like how long you were creating content before you first went viral, and then what that first
Oh, three
experience was
years.
like. 3
Oh,
years.
three
Because
years.
people make it seem like it's an
I was,
overnight, like she just like came out of nowhere, but she's been
girl,
doing work for
no.
3 years.
And doing work, I remember that because I think I was talking to a friend and she was just saying how like she'd heard folks saying like, oh, they don't understand how the Odditty just blew up. Like, I was like, just blew up. Yo, I've been in this game since 2017. I was a college blogger and I was a vlogger for a year. That didn't work out. Then I started doing modeling. Then I did this. I did so many things for 3 years. And I just clocked 10,000 followers in March. And I was
Wow.
ecstatic. I was like, I can swipe up now. I'm excited. This is engaging. This is amazing. I was at 2,000 followers on Twitter. I was non-existent on TikTok. And Instagram was just my main platform of 10,000 odd people, my odd family. And I remember posting this video on Twitter. I just sent it to one of my friends, the same friend I think I sent everything to. And I sent it to one of my friends, and she was like, oh, that's ridiculous. Post it on Twitter. People will laugh about it because I was trying on this outfit. I was like, oh, okay, because I always, when I try on clothes, I send it to my friends. And I posted the video, and I think in 2 hours, I had like 200,000 views. And I was like, wait a minute. When this is what goes viral, I had no makeup on. I was not ready. My bio wasn't even ready for y'all. Nothing was ready. Y'all even, if I had known, I would have prepared. I should have like some things in place. So y'all, and I just sat there and I just kept watching the numbers go higher. My follower count on Twitter went from 2,000 to about 80K in a week. It was less than a week, like 2-3 days. And I just remember sitting there in awe of people like loving me and supporting me and just continuing to share my videos, and they wanted more videos. And I was like, oh my God. And then from Instagram, I doubled from 10K to 20K and then 30K in just that same week. And I just remember going, oh wow. So what do I do now? What's next?
Right.
Do I keep posting? I might supposed to just continue what I was doing. And I think it was an interesting experience for sure. And I genuinely, I think the fact that I've been doing this for so long allowed me to be a little bit more prepared to know and to continue to also stay in myself and say, although this great things are happening for me, this is still the message I want to pass. And this is still the way I'm going to pass my message, regardless of the amount of eyes still coming in looking at me.
Yeah, you've hinted at the interesting part. I want to dig more into like how did going viral impact your life, even let's say offline?
Right. It's actually funny enough, not besides being recognized, which is crazy, being recognized when you go out at several different places. Overall, it's been really, really good. Offline, I feel like I'm still the same person. I'm still Sophie, you know. When I go to brunch, my waiter recognizes me and then might give me the free drinks.
Okay.
Or I'm walking on the street and someone be like, oh my God, are you the Odditty? I'm like, yeah, I am. Hi. But so I've been a lot more recognizable, and it's been a lot more favorable in that aspect. And but besides that, nothing has really changed. And I think people expect that. I think they expect that you're either swimming in money or now you're famous and you have this and that. I'm like, no, not really.
So your family,
Still
your
the same.
friends is the same?
Yeah, family, friends, still the same. I think I've worked really hard to get to where I am now, and I think I'd mentioned this before too. My confidence to even be able to post that video on Twitter shows how I've grown in my person now, right? So I would have never posted a video on Twitter 2 years ago, a year ago, a couple of months ago, last year even, right? I'd have been too shy. I wasn't open to allowing people into my energy. I wasn't sure I was able to protect that energy, and because I'd gone through a lot that made me struggle with the energy I had. And so I just allowed myself to breathe and say, you know what, it's okay. It's okay to let people in, and it's okay to just share this with the world. You're not going to always have your favorites. Like, people are going to hate you sometimes. They're not going to enjoy what you do. But at the end of the day, like, it's still you, and you just need to remember that. And so nothing has really changed. Family and friends are still there. They're more supportive than ever. It's really good.
There's a part in your video about going viral where you said that now is your time to exist, and you're speaking a bit about it, but like I want to learn more about that journey. because
Yeah.
it does take a lot of confidence to post a picture of yourself online or in any type of clothes, like anything.
Yeah.
So like, how did you even decide, I want to start posting pictures of myself online? And then how do you deal with the commentary that comes from that?
That's a great question. I don't know if you can deal with it, honestly. I don't know if you can manage it, right? I think what it is being able to take care of yourself. And when I tell people this all the time, I'm like, y'all, this is Sophie, and this is my box, and nobody comes into the box, nobody steps in. Whatever attacks you have, whatever negativity you're bringing, it bounces off the box. Some things might damage the box, and that's why I'm gonna take 2 weeks after 3 months to recharge, clean up my box, and then bring the box right back to the front and let it get hit again, let it get, swallowed or whatever, and then I'm gonna recharge again. I think that's something I do for myself. So when I first went viral and people that get to know me, I went from 10,000 odd family members to 100,000. Now I'm at 140 something across almost all my platforms, and now I'm reaching about over 400 to 500 people, 500,000 people, and a lot of those people might not be cheering on for you. A lot of people might just be wanting to see you fail. And I think one thing I'd learned growing up, and I think being Nigerian, you got thick skin really quickly growing up. But one thing I learned for myself is I am the only person capable of keeping myself happy, period. You're the only person capable of making sure you're happy. No one else. No validation from the internet, no validation from your family. My mom can come in and say, be happy now, and I still can't be happy unless I am happy. And so how I maintain that happiness is ensuring that I am the best version of myself possible. I'm working on me constantly. And when I say that, I tell people, I'm like, my journey on the internet isn't to serve other people, right? It's to work on myself and share that with you. So everything I post is a story, it's a journey. If I have this collaboration with a fashion designer that I pick the outfit and I wear the outfit, my caption will relate to my experiences wearing the outfit, how I feel right now, I'm doing today. Because in many ways, I'm honestly just always sharing my story in hopes that somebody might be inspired by it. I think that's my way of continuing growing. Like I took a 2 week break from the internet this past week, like not posting anything, not stressing myself, because I just genuinely I do that a lot of times. My OGs would know. I this is my way of doing self care. Is if I post the content back to back for about 3 months, I take a break for like 2 weeks, maybe a week, and I don't post anything. I recharge. I sort of like I've already kept a store of the love you give me and of the positive comments, and I just use that to build my box back together, just to make sure I'm stable and I'm good again to put out more content to share myself with the world. And I think that's been one way to sort of help myself and help my mental health.
Have the pandemics, whether it's COVID-19 or even the racial uprising, have they impacted the way you feel about content production and this desire to want to take more breaks?
Yes and no. I think I don't know if I get flack for this. I don't know. Uh, but this is how I feel about it, right? I think a lot of ways. I think this quote about your existence in itself is a resistance, right? Being Black, your existence is the resistance to the world and the things that are happening. And I think a lot of people in this time feel really down. COVID-19 has hit a lot of people. My brother is a doctor. He's at the front lines of the COVID-19 war in Nigeria. I know firsthand what that looks like, scared for your loved one and hoping they don't fall sick. They're taking all the proper precautions. My mom is over 60. She's in that age where she might fall sick too. What does that look like if she's not getting the proper health care? I have friends and family around me. I have people who are not taking this seriously. I have people who are taking this too seriously or too much of seriousness. So it's a lot going on, right? But I think like I said, I maintain my space. I keep myself educated, but I also know like I need to exist constantly. I can't stop because once you stop, you allow yourself break down. You allow yourself give up. You allow yourself think twice about your power and your strength. But once you continue, you address the things that are happening, but you continue to show that you're capable of so much more. I think that helps you. And I think I put the responsibility on myself that I am able to help other people laugh during this really, really tough time. And if I can do that for someone else and still have my energy and peace intact, I would love to. I'm there. I'm open field. And with the racial injustice that's been happening, I'm right there deep in the center of it. DC is right there out my window.
Yeah.
And it's tough. It's been hard to exist in spaces where you feel like you don't belong. And for a long time, I've felt that way. But I always say like my existence is resistance. And I remember when I remember when thinking the Black Lives Matter movement, and folks were posting on TikTok, and they were like, "Oh, don't post anymore on Instagram. Don't post your selfies. Don't post this. This is not the moment." And I remember sitting there going, "No, dang it, no, post that shit." Sorry if I didn't mean to curse, but post it. Exist. Show them that you are not going to be let down by the things that are happening, because they, and we all know who they are still posting, they are still getting that money, they are still in that system work, making the system work for them, and you are still being pushed down even within your resistance. But if you're existing in that space and you're fighting back while making sure you're protecting your peace, and that's what works best for you, and that's what worked best for me. So I remember during that period, I would post a lot about Black Lives Matter, but I also post a lot about what I was doing and the ways I was helping and the ways I was also taking care of myself, to show people that you can exist in pain, and you can exist in pain to fight for other people while also maintaining your peace, because the oppressor is still doing just that. They're still existing, and they're still living. They don't feel a sweat. A lot of times I was in here, tweeting and donating, and I would see people walking around acting like they had no care in the world. I had friends who did not even know what was going on because they were not educated, and they were white friends, so other people of color too, who just did not care about the situation. And I remember feeling so down, like I don't want to post because I'm sad. Well, here you are, where you should be posting. You should be a good ally, but you're there living your life, getting your bag, doing all that stuff. Why can't I exist too while still resisting? And I think that's oftentimes my message to people is exist. Your existence is your resistance, and you deal with these situations and scenarios the best way you know how to. And for me, that was still posting, still fighting, while also maintaining a last smile on my face.
How do you deal with and you've talked about this before, but how do you deal with the performative nature of being an online personality? Because there is like the idea like everybody should post, but then how do you manage the type of desire to post that can be performative, to look like you care, but you don't actually care, for some of those people who want to be allies, or just even yourself, like this pressure to
Right.
maybe maintain some type of persona online?
Right. I think that's the thing, though. I've never been performative, and I don't think a lot of people I know are. But a lot of times with performative social media, it's folks who are not in it for the right reasons, right? And then you can, and I oftentimes can't speak to that because I don't understand it, nor do I respect that idea of social media. I don't sort of buy into it. I don't give into it. But I think for me, when you choose to share yourself online, in many ways, it oftentimes comes with as performative, right? Because you're choosing. Before I post anything, I'm clicking through and I'm reading through what I'm posting. So in many ways, I know what I'm delivering, right? So in that way, I'm sort of sharing myself with a story or with a caption and so on. But as long as you're doing that authentically, it's the intention behind it. And oftentimes, I just hope that people are oftentimes intentional about being better people when they post online. And I can't speak to someone who's performative because I don't know their intention when they post it. If I do see it and I'm like, you never talk about that, so why are you going through that now? I might feel some type of way about it, but I would address it. Reach out. I have friends who are influencers, friends who are who are in this space with me, that we've had these tough conversations about what do we do in these spaces, how do we help them. And I think we can't pass judgment on folks. We don't know how they're sort of choosing to exist in these spaces. I think as long as we can show that we're supported and we just hope people are having the best of intentions, and that's all we can sort of do, honestly. Social media is a vast thing that we oftentimes iron in people's heads to understand what they're doing. Yeah.
The version of yourself that you post online, do you feel like that's your full self? Do you like reveal everything about yourself, or are there parts that you kind of curate?
Funny enough that you mentioned that. So I had a brand deal with a brand the other day, and I remember like they asking me to curate a concept and the content to send to them. I was like, oh, I won't do that. I'm just gonna post because I enjoy your brand. And they were like, well, we want something that at least we can read over, to review, to see if you do that. I was like, okay, sure. So I knew I was moving in. I knew I was honestly going to be cheersing with my friends. I was like, oh, I would use this brand because I would have used it anyways to cheers. And I incorporated that into it. The brand was like, oh my God, it's not curated, but we enjoyed it because that's still you. And like, I feel like I've struggled with that with being a social media influencer, because I'm not curated at all. If anyone knows me, I am the opposite of curated. I would be, one minute I'm sitting in my room, and the next minute I'm up doing a video and posting it, like, oh my God, I want to do that, and I'm going back to bed. Or I'm doing this in terms of I genuinely only share stuff on social media when I want to. Of course, I had filters. I edit if I want to. I make sure things are clean, which is, of course, I like things pretty, like everyone does. But in many ways, I forget most of the question, but I think with curation, especially for me, that's not how I am. I think that also speaks to my name, the Odditty, because I choose to be unique and I choose to sort of show the world who I am authentically. And when you're curated, it sort of I feel like it takes in many ways the authenticity out of it. When I say curated, I mean you're literally not who you say you are. I'm not talking about when you like an aesthetic, because I think that's different. Like if I like to wear pretty dresses, only yellows on my social media, I'm curated, but also that's what I enjoy doing, right? But I think in many ways it's making sure you're intentional about what you're sharing and sharing that the way you would like doing it best. And for me, that's random. I tell people this, I post maybe once or twice a week, and they're like, oh, you could post more, do this, find this out. I'm like, I don't want to do that. That seems like a lot of work, and this is fun for me. I never want it to be a job. I think to preserve my energy, I want this to always make me happy, and the moment it's not making me happy, I don't think I want to do it anymore.
Are you a full-time content creator?
Oh God, no.
Okay.
No, I am not. I am currently actually job searching in the international development field. Yeah.
Oh wow. So how do you deal with like the balancing like this work you do online versus like the work you do offline, and even just like maybe potential coworkers? Have you had any instances when people are like, oh, she's popular online?
Yeah, I've had that a lot. When you're job searching while doing so well on social media, you get a lot of questions in interviews like, aren't you that girl on social media, the Odditty? And I'm like, yeah. That means I'm great at social media management. I'm also a great communications manager. Just throwing that out there if any of these jobs are available, because clearly I'm doing so well. But I think it's been good. I think the fact that I have such good energy and my platform is about my persona has helped me sort of hone in on that. But it's something I'm still learning to balance, because I didn't think I was going to blow up this quick. So I was hoping I would have some time to plan this. But the fact that I blew up this big and I'm job searching has allowed me to sort of see the intersection with how does this work because I just finished my master's in peace building. How does this work with my passions for girls' education? Well, I just finished a research paper on gender equality and international development and what that looks like for programmatic guidance. Sorry, I just turned your nerd.
We love to see it. Yeah, we love to see it.
And now I might be working with Neutrogena on an ad campaign that is fighting for gender equality and gender-based violence prevention in certain regions in Africa, right? And that's literally the two things I want to do, right? I want to use my personality to push for good work. And I'm not only doing that just as a content creator, I'm doing that as an educated content creator, someone who actually has done the research. So if you're coming to me like, oh, we love this campaign, I'm talking about, oh, can I see what's behind the campaign? Can I talk to the program designers? Can I talk to people who are working on it? Can I see what the research has been? Can I do this? And they're looking like, girl, we just wanted the photo. I'm like, oh, I know you want a photo, but I also want to educate you to make sure you're doing the work behind the scenes too. So I think that's what I enjoy doing, and I hope that's what I can use my platform for. I think for many ways that's what I want my platform to be. Is I think of Tracy Ellis Ross when I think about this, right? And she does incredible work with charities and foundations, and she's such an educated, brilliant woman. She's also really goofy, and she has fun on her social media, and she's excited to live. I think that's something I want to do. I want to share my passions in my research focus and so on with the world, while also being goofy and excited and fun, because why can't I do both?
Why can't you do both?
Right.
And this reminds me of something you were saying earlier about like this box that you create for yourself, like boundaries.
Yeah.
And it makes me think about how people really only see you through a box, like a screen. And are there maybe misconceptions that people have about you just based off of like what they feel about you from the screen? Like, have you had to deal with people thinking about you one way, but you know who you are and it's not that way?
Yes and no. I would say this in terms of morality. I think because people can see in different lenses, like morality, spiritually, how you are, you conduct yourself professionally. There's so many ways you can view a person. I think my message is oftentimes clear as be you, period. So it's helped me hone that in. But also I think when you're someone who is goofy online, people might forget that you also have a brain. And so
because she got a master's, y'all.
I got a whole master's with research and everything. And I want to get my PhD in the next 2
Wow.
years. And so actually, probably hopefully next year, not one laptop. I'm applying for programs actually right now to hopefully get admission into some universities, and I'm excited about. But people would never know that, right?
Right.
But if you go through my blog and you go through my work, you would see, oh, I said, well, someone just tweeted the other day, like, oh my God, Sophie's blog is incredible. And I'm like, people don't really read it, but I write a lot because I enjoy writing too. And I think it's interesting because I think the world sees people that way. It's just you can't help it. You oftentimes want to know how this person fits into the equation, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they don't fit, you're worried. Like it's a circle, but like you're trying to fit this box in there. And so I think that's why again I'm the oddity, right? I
Yeah.
don't oftentimes don't know what to expect. So I like to surprise people, and I think it's funny when you're like, oh, you're speaking about this. Oh, I have this intelligent thing to add to that conversation. They're like, oh, you knew that? I'm like, yeah, I studied that. And then you just move on from it. I think it's cool.
I want to end our conversation with one last question
Of
for you.
course.
Because everything you've been saying today, it's really been thought provoking. I really appreciate your candor too. Just like
Yeah.
learning behind the scenes of what it means to be a content creator, what it means to be a human, a Black person specifically,
Mm-hmm.
today. So my last question for you is, what does it mean to be a Black person for you right now? That could be this month, it could be today. Time
Right.
is whatever you want it to be.
That's a huge question, right? Because in many ways, I didn't know I was Black till I moved to America, right? Because I lived in
Interesting. Yeah.
Nigeria. I've only been in America for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's interesting, but I think I would say to be dynamic. I want to use that word specifically. I want to explain what that means because I want to share this because I'm in this box right now where I went viral a lot on Nigerian Twitter, and so
Mm.
I have a lot of Nigerian followers, but I'm here in America, right? And so I'm learning as I speak in Yoruba a lot. Like I'm oftentimes like I just break into Yoruba when I'm excited, and Yoruba is my native language for anyone listening. And I've been getting feedback from brands and from my management that maybe I need to start speaking a lot more English. Maybe I need to
Oh,
start, catering to a lot more a broader audience so I can attract a lot more different people. I'm like, oh, I didn't know I could do that because they're like, so you're speaking to Black women, but you can't talk to Black women if they don't understand you. And I had to pose a question then: who are Black women? Are they just African Americans? Are you talking about Jamaicans? Are you talking about Caribbean people? Are
mm.
you talking about Africans? Like, who am I supposed to be talking to that I'm not relating by speaking the way I'm speaking? And I think that's something I'm also struggling. So that's why I say dynamic because it's nuanced with however you're doing, but you're constantly having to change. It's without being change in terms of be adapting to the things that life is thrown at you, right? One day you're walking on the street and then a police officer stops you and you're scared for your life. The other day you meet another Black woman on the street and she's excited about your haircut. The other time you're talking to this and you're like, oh, you're dark skin, or no, you're light skin. There's so many ways and there's dynamism behind being Black, especially when you bring, either you're African or African American or Caribbean into the picture. It's a dynamic word and it's a dynamic way of being that I think is exciting, it's thrilling, it's nerve wracking. It's amazing for lack of a better word, but it's also something I'm learning. I'm
Mm-hmm.
learning because I never claimed to be Black, right? Because I didn't know. I just thought I was Nigerian, and so now I'm learning what it is to be Black, and I've learned that there's actually not one thing. I think it's an interesting word that I'm still learning about for sure. I think that's the only way to put it. So I think I'm still
Yeah.
stuck in that bubble of learning who I am and how I fit into the equation of Blackness. And we can talk all day about Beyonce's Black is King as
I'm
a
wearing a
way to
Beyonce shirt.
as a way to just destroy that conversation. Be like, girl, what you think about this? And it's like, girl, where do I start from? But yeah, it's dynamic. I think that's where I'm gonna leave it at. Yeah.
I do appreciate you bringing up the diasporic perspective of being Black, because one thing
Yeah.
I want to do in my research, even though I'm focused on Black content creators in the United States, I do bear in mind that it's not just African American type of Black, right? It's
Yeah.
also Black from the Caribbean, Black from Africa, Black from
Yeah.
anywhere in the world. There are
Think
Black
about it, because
people.
like I realized a lot of the amazing Black women I follow Black content creators specifically are Nigerian. Either they're Nigerian immigrants or they're African immigrants in some way from a different country, or they may be African Americans from different countries. And I remember like I never thought of them as Nigerian content creators. I just thought of them as Black YouTubers, right? I think of Patricia Bright, I think of Jayla Corian, Ashley, and like so many, Missy Lynn, and I think of like Jackie and all these amazing people doing the sports sociology, and in many ways, I never thought of them as different type of Black. I just thought we were all Black, right? But when you break it down, I'm realizing that there's certain ways that you see them as Black women because of maybe the way they talk, the way they act, versus folks who, my intern, Adima Ume is a great example. She's an amazing Nigerian YouTuber, right?
Yes, yeah, I follow her.
She's incredible and her content is amazing, but she caters to a Nigerian audience.
Because she's in Nigeria.
She's in Nigeria, but and that's something I'm also struggling with now. Is like, I cater to a Nigerian audience because I have an American accent sometimes, and I put it on because it's just easier to talk in this country this way.
See, that's a performance, though.
See, that's the thing, though. Like that's how I've had to learn to talk in America, period, since I came here, right? But I also wanted to assimilate into the culture, so I was like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna do this. But then when I post content, everybody knows I speak like now. I'm like, okay, I break into Yoruba, I'm talking because I'm more comfortable that way. You know what I mean? I think it's interesting because it takes a lot to sort of learn where you fit in, if you want to fit in at all. And I think I'm right now, honestly, and I think it's the first time I'm actually saying that. I'm just existing now. I'm gonna see where the world sort of pushes me to be, and I'm just gonna post content, and I'm just hoping the right audience comes to me, regardless of what they are or where they're from.
That was my interview with Sophie, also known as the Odditty. You may be wondering why we didn't address the current EndSARS protests in our conversation, given the fact that Sophie and I are both Nigerian. This is because our interview was recorded months ago. It was recorded so long ago that Sophie has secured a full-time job in international development since we last spoke, which she talks more about in her latest YouTube video from October 25th, titled Life Update. That said, I will provide some background on the protest for those of you who may be unfamiliar with this current event, along with today's takeaways. Remember, for each episode, I will include citations to reference materials I mention, as well as some additional background reading for you on the Black in Real Life website. Visit www.blkirl.com to nerd out. Haitian scholar Antenor Firmin once said, "Man is programmed for social life, which he ultimately always achieves by making his own history." I believe that language is one tool that people use to construct their own histories. So I would like to focus my takeaways today on Sophie's use of language as a content creator, which she talked candidly about at the end of our conversation. In his book, Decolonizing the Mind, The Politics of Language in African Literature, Kenyan scholar Ngugi wa Thiong'o describes all languages as both a means of communication and a carrier of culture. To Ngugi, living languages grow like living things. Take English, for example. There are many ways to speak English. Sophie's language use represents what linguistic anthropologist Christine Jordan calls enlanguagement, which she defines as the process by which sociocultural groups create for themselves the language that becomes the medium of their new cultural life. The way Sophie talks is the medium of her cultural life as a Nigerian woman who lives and works in the United States. One of the three aspects of language as culture outlined by Ngugi is that language as culture is an image-forming agent upon which our whole conception of ourselves as a people, individually and collectively, is based. Sophie's use of language reflects the multiple cultures that she represents, which I believe is important to recognize in the context of her work as a Black, digital content creator. Because as linguistic anthropologist Crystal Smalls writes in her article, Languages of Liberation, Digital Discourse of Emphatic Blackness, when examining examples of stigmatized Black languaging in digital discourse, we must consider the ways digital space is always already a white public space. Sophie's language hybridity within the influencer marketing sphere, which generally privileges quote-unquote standard English speakers, is what makes her the oddity in the best way possible.
Attention, quick march, slow march, left on, right on, a button, double up, salute, upon your hand, stand the piece, fall in, fall out, fall down, get ready. Attention, quick march, slow march, left on, right on, a button, double up, salute, upon your hand, stand the piece, fall in, fall out, fall down, get ready. What? Order!
The late and great Nigerian musician and activist, Fela Kuti, released an album called Zombie in 1977. The lyrics of the album's titular track, Zombie, speaks to many of the same issues that citizens of Nigeria are still struggling with today. It criticizes the Nigerian military, using the metaphor of the zombie to depict its soldiers as realless humans who follow orders without thinking and who move and act like zombies. This song, and the album as a whole, is unabashedly an anti-government proclamation which obviously infuriated the Nigerian government while enthralling the Nigerian people. In another song on the album called Mr. Follow Follow, Kuti sings in pidgin English. Some dey follow, them close their mouth, which is to say, some people follow the status quo without speaking up and making their voices heard. Kuti goes on later in the chorus to advise, if you dey follow, make you open eye, open ear, open mouth, open sense. In other words, don't be a mindless zombie. Seek to learn about the world around you and to ask questions about it. This advice is just as important now in 2020 as it was back then in 1977, as young Nigerians seek to shake up the status quo of police brutality in the country today. This leads me to the current hashtag #EndSARS protests. SARS is an acronym for the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, an elite police force that has done everything but serve and protect the people of Nigeria. Members of SARS have been involved in everything from citizen harassment to kidnappings for years, and this generation of young Nigerians are sick of it. As a result, they have enacted what Yinka Adegoke, the Africa editor of Quartz, cites as the biggest and longest-running series of national protests in a generation. You may have seen the hashtags on social media. Hashtag #EndSARS. Hashtag #EndSARSNow. Similarly to the movement for Black Lives that started in the United States, Nigeria's movement to end SARS has become more than just about police brutality. It has become a movement to shake up the status quo of Nigeria's weak governance and imagine a more positive future for citizens of a country that is predicted to become the world's third most populous nation by 2050. To learn more about the End SARS movement, visit www.endsars.com. You have just listened to a production of the Black in Real Life podcast, hosted by Anuli Akanegbu, developed by Anuli Akanegbu, scripted by Anuli Akanegbu, edited by Anuli Akanegbu, with research support by Anuli Akanegbu. The music was graciously provided by Garth, whose single Wild can be streamed on anywhere you can find music. Thank you, and remember, the people you follow online are also Black in real life.